for those of you who weren't here yesterday, we were talking about the main idea. Remember like our box and bullet charts? So we have the box goes the main idea. And then the bullets are those supporting ideas that help you understand the main idea. So think about it as a chair. Who's sitting in a chair today again? A chair that has legs. All right, so I'm sitting in a chair too that has legs. Think about you being the main. What's up?
You're frozen. I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. So think about it like that. You being in the chair, you're the main idea. Raise your hand. What would happen if you didn't have any legs on your chair? What would happen if the legs on your chair broke? Andres, what would happen? Andres, what would happen if the legs on your chair broke? All right, Kamaya, what would happen if the legs, oh, go on, Andres. Go on, Andres. What would happen, Andres?
You'll be all the way down.
Yeah, you'd be on the ground, right? So think about those legs as a supporting idea. They support it, give you extra information, okay? So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna practice a little bit more with that, but we're gonna do something a little bit different. So remember, we're learning all these things to help fill our toolbox to take tests, okay? So pretend you guys have a little toolbox, a tool, what do we call those, tool belts? So we're filling that tool belt and toolbox with things that we can use to help us take tests, okay? Can you guys see my page? Give me a thumbs up. It says readers scanned a text. Can you guys see this? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs up. Andres is giving me a thumbs up. He could see it. Santana, Susan's giving, all right, there we go. All right, so what we're gonna do today is readers scan a text to find answers. Scanning a text means to look over the text quickly. So how that's gonna work, listen, eyes on me. Remember we talked about this, you need to be looking at me. We should not be on our phones. We shouldn't be laying down, we're sitting up. You guys are trying to earn playing Among Us. All right, that means we keep our cameras on, our eyes on us, okay? We're trying to earn that reward. All right, so how we do that? What we do first is when we are presented with a passage, so a text, and questions, we're gonna read the questions first. I know that sounds crazy. You're like, why would we read the questions first? If we read the questions, we kind of know what to be looking for, okay? When we read the text, it's kind of gonna make it easier. If I read the question, I already know what I should be focusing on when I'm reading the text. So we're going to read the questions, read the entire passage, the whole thing. We're going to read the questions again, and then we're just going to scan the text. So scan the text meaning you're not reading the whole thing again. You're just quickly kind of going through. Maybe you're just looking at key words that are in the question. You may be looking at words that are in the question, looking for it in the text. You're like, oh, that's a matching word. Maybe this is the answer. So we're going to practice this again, okay? So the whole point is that you shouldn't have to read the passage more than once because you read the question, read the whole passage, read the questions again, and then scan the text for the answer. All right, so we're going to be reading this again, this college basketball team. Who can read to me this first question down here? Who could read this first question down here? Kamaya, read our first question. Real loud so all of us can hear it. Everyone should be listening to Kamaya, so you need to be looking up, listening to her.
What team did Texas Western beat?
Okay, good. Our first question, what team did Texas Western beat? Who wants to read the second question? Who wants to read the second question? I have it highlighted blue. Destiny, go ahead, sweetie, read the second question.
What movie was made about this team?
Perfect. Okay. All right, guys. So we know our mission. We have two questions to answer. What team did Texas Western beat? And what movie was made about this team? So we know that when we read this, we're going to be looking out for those answers, okay? So while I'm reading, just think, okay, did I just answer one of the questions? What team did Texas Western beat? And what movie was made about this team? All right, you guys listen, okay? I'm going to try to read this in my best reading voice. Okay, the biggest victory ever. college basketball changed forever in 1966. That is when, here, I'll make it big, see if you guys want to follow along. There we go. That is when Texas Western beat Kentucky to win the championship. Texas Western was the first college basketball team to start 5 players who were all black. All of Kentucky's players were white. Most coaches thought a team needed white players to win. Texas Western proved them wrong. It took years for people to praise Texas Western. Thankfully, the players are now getting credit that they deserve. Texas Western College is in El Paso, Texas. It is now called the University at Texas El Paso, or UTEP. Don Haskins was the basketball coach in 1966. Don was white. He always put his best players into the game. He did not care what color their skin was. He started 5 black players in many games. He was the first coach to do that. Texas Western had great players like Bobby Joe Hill and David Lattin. They only lost 1 game all year. Fans yelled racist things at them, but they still won. They had an amazing season, but no one thought they could win the championship game. Kentucky had a famous coach named Adolph Rupp. Kentucky also had great players. Fans had no idea who Texas Western's players were. People knew they started 5 black players, but few people had seen them play. People assumed that Kentucky's players were smarter because they were white. Anyone who watched the game saw that was wrong. Texas Western players were smarter. They worked together on defense. They didn't make mistakes. They led for the entire game. The final score was 72-65. Fans were stunned. Sadly, people still said mean things about Texas Western for years after their victory. They were not invited to visit the White House. No one asked them to be on late night TV shows. Every other championship team got to do those things. Adolph Rupp says his team lost to a bunch of crooks. He said Texas Western cheated. He said they never went to class. There was a big investigation. Investigation means they looked into it. They kind of had the look to see if that was true or false. It proved Texas Western had followed the rules. Their players graduated college. They later had amazing careers. Texas Western season influenced colleges to recruit more black students. The number of black students, college basketball players increased. It took years for people to finally respect Texas Western. An article in 1991 finally gave them credit. A book was written about them in 2005. Disney made a movie about them in 2006 called Glory Road. The team was honored during the 2016 Final Four. People realized that Texas Western was one of the most important teams in basketball history. All right. Okay, so let's go back. What is happening? No. Miss Kalina is really struggling today. Okay, so we did number 1. We read the questions. We did number 2. We read the entire passage. Someone raise your hand. What is number 3? What's our third step today? What do we need to do? What is number 3 on my page? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you know what number 3 is. Guys, it's right in front of your face. Susan, what's number 3?
Read the questions again.
Okay, let's do that. What team did Texas Western beat? What movie was made about them? Okay, what is number 4, Gabe? What does number 4 say? What do we have to do now?
Scan the text.
Scan the text. Does that mean we read the whole text again?
No.
No, good. We just kind of scan it. So let's try and do this. I'm just going to scan. You guys scan too. Raise your hand if we can find the answer. What team did Texas Western beat? Who remembers? Okay, I'm just scanning college basketball, blah, blah, blah. That is when beat. Okay, I found this word beat. And that's kind of beat. What team did Texas Western beat? Beat. Let's keep reading. Kentucky to win the championship. So what is our answer for number 1? What is our answer? Who did they beat? Raise your hand if you remember. Who did they beat? Raise your hand. What team did they beat? Andre, so you raising your hand? What team did they beat? Who knows? All right, let's scan. You guys need to be helping me. We're scanning this. All right, let's scan the first paragraph.
Kentucky.
Kentucky, good. So we just scanned that. We found that there. We didn't have to read the whole thing. We found those similar words, beat and beat Kentucky. Perfect. All right, our next question. What movie was made about this team? Well, first of all, let's determine, did they talk about the movie in the beginning, the middle, or the end? Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember?
And
The end, good. Okay, so let's go to the end. Let's scan this last paragraph. Oh, no, not save. Kalina's very struggling today. All right, raise your hand. Let's scan this last. Let's look for similar words. Movie, movie, movie. So we're just gonna scan through. Tell me when I look at my mouse. Tell me when I find the word movie. Look at my mouse.
use pause it
Tell me when I find the word movie.
right there.
Here. Okay, let's keep reading. Disney made a movie about them in 2006 called Santana. What's it called?
Glory Road.
Perfect. All right. So do we see how we did that? We didn't have to go and we didn't read the whole thing again. We just went ahead and looked. Okay. We remembered it talking about a movie later in the story. So what we did is we kind of just scanned through real quick and see where we found the word movie. It's kind of like a word search. You're looking for that one key word, kind of like a signal word. All right. Glory Road. Perfect. Has anyone ever seen that movie? Has anyone ever seen Glory Road?
I'll probably see it.
I kind of want to watch it. Oscar, if you watch
Because
it.
I watched this movie, Remember the Titans, so I'm probably going to watch that movie too.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Do you guys want to see if there's a trailer for it? For this movie?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
And I'm going to watch,
1, 2.
Okay, I found the trailer.
watch this new movie on Disney